in the Marine Corps. I know I've said that a few times. You're probably aware of it. If not, if you're new here, I served in the Marine Corps for a few years. I was an enlisted guy, not an officer. So I was in boot camp with a lot of black Marines who had trouble with razor bumps or shave bumps. I don't know what they called them. When you have curly hair and you shave, sometimes the hair goes up inside and you have an ingrown hair there. And some people are afflicted because of genetics to have it even worse. And so in boot camp, this isn't for black men who are watching this, because you know, this is for white people who don't know, or if you weren't in boot camp, but there's like a cream that they put on. It's like Nair that kind of burns the hair off so you don't have to shave it, and so you have less of a problem with it. Well, right now, the Republican Party, the most organized and effective white supremacy organization on the planet, the Republican Party, Donald Trump, the whole DEI nonsense, they're so against diversity in our world that they are going to be kicking out Marines, black Marines, who suffer from this genetic condition and have a hard time shaving. The whole DEI nonsense, they're so against diversity in our world that they are going to be kicking out Marines, black Marines, who suffer from this genetic condition and have a hard time shaving. I've been talking about, look, they're deleting tens of thousands of images in databases celebrating the diversity in the military. Just pictures of black folks doing their jobs, of women doing their jobs, of gay and lesbian and transgender soldiers just doing their jobs. They're deleting any trace of it because they want to erase the contributions of individuals who aren't straight white men. It's the way it is. Because you know what I can tell you? You know what they're not deleting? Pictures of straight white men, right? I didn't think that in the Trump administration I would be reading from military.com, which is the newspaper that deals with military issues. These are, a lot of these people are veterans, but this is a newspaper that covers military issues, military news. Here we are, though. Here's the headline. Marines with skin condition affecting mostly black men could now be booted under new policy, meaning kicked out of the military. Military news. Here we are, though. Here's the headline. Marines with skin condition affecting mostly black men could now be booted under new policy, meaning kicked out of the military. Under new policy, meaning kicked out of the military. A new Marine Corps policy says troops with a genetic skin condition that can cause pain and scarring from shaving and mainly affects black men, can be separated if the health issue persists. The, quote, interim guidance issued Thursday gives military healthcare providers 90 days to reevaluate Marines diagnosed with pseudofolliculitis barbae, I think is how you say that. Pseudofolliculitis barbae, or PFB. PFB, that's way easier. Or PFB, if they don't recover based on a 4-phase treatment program outlined in the message, have to remain on a shaving waiver for more than a year, and a commander deems it fit. The Corps can administratively separate them due to incompatibility with service, according to the message. The directive marks a reversal from a previous Marine Corps policy issued in 2022 that prohibited the service from administratively separating Marines solely based on the condition, which is caused when curled hairs grow back into the skin, resulting in inflammation. It also comes at the same time Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered a military-wide review of standards specifically focused on issues such as shaving, waivers, and body fat. Quote, in cases where a medical condition prevents a Marine from meeting required standards for an extended period exceeding 1 year, administrative separation may be considered if it affects long-term service compatibility. Major Jacoby Getty, a spokesperson for the Corps Manpower and Reserve Affairs, said in an emailed statement Friday when asked why Marines are no longer exempt from separation due to PFB. Quote, he says, however, every effort will be made to support Marines through treatment and recovery before such decisions are considered. Getty emphasized that the new guidance is meant to imbue consistency across medical exemptions and that the service remains fully committed to supporting Marines with PFB. It's not being applied consistently when this is an affliction that I think they say like 60% of black guys have. Oh, it says black service members make up about 15 to 16% of the active duty force, they said, but 66% of shaving waivers holders are black. They said, but 66% of shaving waivers holders are black. This is to target black Marines. This is to target black Americans. They said, but 66% of shaving waivers holders are black. This is to target black Marines. This is to target black Americans, to target people who want to serve their nation. It's not white people that are largely going to be impacted by it. 6% of shaving waivers holders are black. This is to target black Marines. This is to target black Americans. This is to target people who want to serve their nation. It's not white people that are largely going to be impacted by this or even minorly impacted by this. It's black folks. People that are largely going to be impacted by this or even minorly impacted by this. It's black folks. That's why they're deleting the contributions of black heroes who got the Medal of Honor after being wounded. High-ranking individuals that they replace the link on the website with DEI medals. Heroes who got the Medal of Honor after being wounded. High-ranking individuals that they replace the link on the website with DEI medals. Largely going to be impacted by this or even minorly impacted by this. It's black folks. That's why they're deleting the contributions of black heroes who got the Medal of Honor after being wounded. High-ranking individuals that they replaced the link on the website with DEI medals. Just because he was black and got a Medal of Honor, it was a DEI medal.
Shalom, shalom. I would like to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, citations unto the electmen, continually feeding the sheep of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Sincerity and truth with this great gospel coming out of our Bible, strictly for the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which are you Israelites today, who are you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and the speckled bird looking like all the other nations, scattered amongst the other nations, but their bloodline go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's God's chosen people. That's the Lord's chosen people. Here we are in Babylon the Great, and it's also known as what? Spiritual Sodom and spiritual Egypt. Let's get this verse. This is the book of Revelation 11, verse 8. It reads, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified." And their dead bodies is who? The Israelites. Because Jake is spiritually dead in this place, right? They don't know their nationality. They don't know who their power is. They don't know nothing. All they know is serving Esau, Edom, and chasing that dollar. Chasing that dollar and chasing after idols and chasing after women. Committing adultery, breaking laws and crimes. Right? Jake has been given over to how can we say, a foul spirit, right? A wicked spirit. It says, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city," which spiritually is called Sodom. And you've seen what's been happening in the past few years in Babylon the Great, right? Transformers. They got boys joining women's sports as transgenders, right? Homosexuals and took over high positions, right, to the point where they got Donald Trump in office, removing all these things, and it says, spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord is crucified. Why Egypt, right? You can look at the dollar bill, you got the pyramid, right? This place has the same spirit of Egypt, right? You got the slaves here serving a rigor captivity, a rigor slavery here underneath the hands of who? Esau, Edom. Right, the new Egyptians, and Donald Trump is your new Pharaoh. He's your new Pharaoh. I'm gonna go to the book of Exodus, one verse. Let's start at verse 8. It says, Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph." Right, and here we are. We got a new president. He's been here before, but guess what? He's back. He's back with a different spirit, right? Really the same spirit, but even worse. Because under him, that's when Jake was getting fucked up. We had a bunch of riots, all this fighting, all these events going on, right? And imagine what's about to happen in the next 4 years, right? It says, now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Pharaoh, knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. And you seen in that video, what's the new president doing? He's removing all them Jakes who had medals of honors, right? He's trying to remove Jake from the military, remove Jake from certain positions, right? He's really, Esau's preparing for war against you Israelites. Just, you Israelites, you don't know who you are, but guess what? These devils, they know who you are. They know you're God's people. They know you're going to be a threat at the end of days to their society, right? I'm reading, it says, and he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come and let us deal wisely with them, right? What you think, what kind of means? You see his cabinet, nothing but Edomites. Nothing but Edomites you got Elon Musk, South Africa. You got other dudes from other countries. You might have a Pakistani dude or Arab dude, but most of them, a lot of these dudes, they look like Arabs and Pakistanians and Moabites. But if you see them fucking with Esau, man, they might be an Edomite. They might be an Edomite because Esau know who's the same as his. That's why he don't mess with all Moabites. He only have a few certain sprinkle ones that he deal with. Same thing with Ishmael and these other nations, right? When you go to Saudi Arabia, man, ain't nothing but Edomites running that country. Right, you got Edomites and set up themselves as Arabs, right? You got, if you go to Iran, some of them dudes look like motherfucking Edomites, Ayatollahs, right? One thing we know that this devil, man, the earth is given into his hands, right? And he controls everything. It says, come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us. And so get them up out of the land, right? Just like he's getting them up out of the army, right? They making excuses, shit like razor bumps to get Jake out the army. What's the other thing? They don't want Jake with a beard on his face. They don't want Jake with that beard on their face. They don't want Jake returning back to their natural ways, right? Because a man is supposed to have a beard on his face. He ain't supposed to be booty face, right? These Edomites, they could do anything they want in the military, but you Jakes, you can't have no beard. You done seen hella movies where Esau, he overseas, he in different places, big ass fucking beards, but at Jake, you gotta cut your shit off, right? It says Marines with skin condition affecting mostly black men could now be booted under new policy. They want all white military. That seems like what it's pointing to, right? And Esau see it, but you Jakes, you don't understand what's going on because you still trust who? Your enemy. You still trust your enemy. I'm reading Ecclesiasticus 12:10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, right? Here's this man, he done put you, he done stole you from a land, right? He done took over your land. He done put you in a captivity, and guess what? You trust him, right? Let's go back to verse 10 again. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, right? He took away your identity, he gave you a new identity. He took away the image of your power, give you a new power, and you trust this man, right? He separated your family, slaughtered you, burnt you, hung you, killed you, crucified you, and you want to trust this man. It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. And that's what happened. When you go back to the dark ages, Jake was marrying these fucking Edomites coming out these Caucasus Mountains. Right? These Edomites, bringing them into our people, bringing them into Ireland, bringing them into France, bringing them into Britain and Spain and all these different countries. And what happened? They overtook us. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Now he claiming to be these people, right? Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And though at last remember my words and be pricked therewith. It says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts, right? And that's why we have no sympathy for these jakes, man. They trusting in Esau's system. They trusting in the military. They trusting the dollar. They trusting that 401k. They trusting their retirement funds. And what's happening? All these things is being vanished. It's taken away. It's being taken away, right? You got the Department of Doge, Department of Government Efficiency. Efficiency. In other ways, man. In other words, they about to find how much they're gonna find ways to save money. And the best way to save money is to take it from who? You ninjas and you Hispanics and Native Americans. You see who he going after? He going after the children of Israel, deporting Israelites, locking up Israelites, cutting off food stamps, Section 8, all the goodies, right? He hitting up some Edomites too, but who's suffering? Who's about to go through it the most? It's you Israelites. That's why the Bible talks about the time of Jacob's trouble, right? Jacob's trouble. And that's soon, that's approaching. That's what's approaching, man. I'm going to read the book of, bear with me. You know what, I'm going to keep reading. It says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent or any such as come nigh wild beasts, right? You got these ninja women. They trusted in Esau. They about to get bit, right? Esau about to cut off the Section 8, the food stamps, right? The child support, the daycare funds, right? The money for your kids to go to school, all these things. And what you going to do? You going to be crying back to your man trying to get some help. And guess what? You ain't going to get no motherfucking help. Right? The Lord's about to turn men cold in this society. It says, so one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him is his sins. Salaki, I'm reading again. So who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent or any such as come nigh wild beast? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him and his sins, who will pity? Right? Because here you went, you done got defiled with Esau. You done became a murderer. You done became a killer for hire underneath Esau's military. You done went to other countries murking people of color for Esau for a few dollars to come back driving around in a Dodge, right? Or to get a college fund to pay for your school and education, right? It says, for a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagined how to throw thee into a pit. And that's what they're working on, the time of Jacob's trouble, right? Concentration camps, right? Prisons, detention centers, guillotines, right? RFID chips in your hand, in your forehead. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood, right? That's why he's known as the bloody man, right? I mean, this is the bloody city. Right, the bloody man, and this is the bloody city, and he's looking to spill the blood of who? You Israelites. I'm going to read the book of Zephaniah 2, verse 1. And it reads, gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. Right? Who's that nation not desired? The children of Israel. You Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Who's being kicked out of America? It's you Israelites. Right? It's you on a mass level. It's you Israelites. They talk about a few other nations on the news, but it's mostly you Haitians, you Venezuelans, you Mexicans, you Colombians, you Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, right? It's the people of God. That's who they have a great disdain for, a perpetual hatred, right? Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired, before the decree bring forth, right? Before the day pass as a shaft, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. And you want to be hid in the day of the Lord's anger, right? Because what the Lord's going to do, the Lord's going to use his sword to punish who? The children of Israel. To punish the children of Israel and the people of the earth, right? World War III is what? Edomite on Edomite, but other nations going to get involved, but a lot of people going to freaking die through this violence that Esau's going to bring, And you Israelites who are in his military, man, this is a losing battle, right? You about to go overseas, and you're not going to come back home, because there's not going to be a home to come back through in this World War III. Anybody from Babylon, the great spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt, which is America, you are not going to have a home to come back to after World War III, because the Lord's going to nuke America off the map. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah 49 and 13. It says, "For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, that Basra shall be a desolation, a reproach, a waste, a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be a perpetual waste." Right? That is the future of America. Right? Basra represents America. It says, "For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, that Basra shall be a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be a perpetual waste." Right? So they ain't gonna be in America to come back to in this third world war. Right? If you're gonna fight for anything, you need to be fighting for who Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Shalom.